evening and welcome to the Post Cafe. It is where artists come to life. The spoken words bring forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics felt within. Vibrations that ring stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expressions and paintings, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love with the sky, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
Let's get started. This is Poetically Speaking with Terry and Ron and our community. And so please don't be shy about giving your comments, because we want you to be part of this party here. It is May, and as we told you before, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I have some things that I want to share with you in terms of that. Also, today's agenda is in purpose and passion. And we have a very special guest to interrogate that particular subject with us. The quote of the day is, "Wealth is measured more in time than money." And this is Rashonda Bennett, a visionary entrepreneur, which you will meet a little later on in the program. But I just wanted to share with you some tips, some health awareness tips. And I got this from the Woodbridge Public Library. I'm just browsing, and they had these things, it's like poster size information here, and they gave like 5 tips for mental health awareness. And number 1 is, they said, practice mindfulness. Take daily moments for mindfulness, like meditation, to find an inner calm. Okay. Number 2, stay active. Do regular exercise, as it can boost your mood and reduce stress. Number 3, get enough sleep. Prioritize quality sleep with a healthy bedtime routine. And number 4, practice gratitude. Mm-hmm. Cultivate a positive mindset by counting your blessings daily. And the last one, number 5, seek support when needed. Reach out to family, friends, or mental health professionals when necessary. And just 3 more things I want to throw in here. It said here, there's 3 daily mental health habits. Number 1, deep breathing. Calm your mind, reduce stress, and promotes relaxation. Daily movement boosts your mood, reduces anxiety, improves mental wellness. And again, deep breathing helps you find joy in small things and reduce stress. So this is some things that we want you to think about when we go through this month, and we continue to go through this month of May. I call it the Merry Month of May because it's not only mental health awareness, but, according to the Woodbridge Public Library, it's Short Story Month, and it's Meditation Month. And there's also Older Adults Month. I guess they're talking about senior citizens. We wouldn't know anything about that, but it's I don't know, because I know seniors like that's over 80. So I wouldn't know anything about that. But we are so glad to have you here with us in our community and also our guests. But as always, we begin our program with Ron's poetry. And Ron, what do you got for us today? I know you got some heavy stuff, right?
Oh, I always have some heavy stuff.
You do.
There's a couple of, actually, I have several, and I just really like to present a couple of them in short, okay? And I'd like to start with this because it's important, because as you indicated, the topic today is what?
It is in purpose and passion.
Purpose and passion.
That's right.
Well, to have that, Either or, if not both, we like to have both. But it's important to understand what I'm getting ready to read.
Yes, please.
And the title of this word is Aligned.
Aligned.
Aligned with the universe, charting a journey beyond the limits of imagination, a realm within the cosmic expanse, where endless dreams are limitless. Winds blow in many directions. However, their appearance seems to contradict this, creating the illusion that they only turn in the opposite direction, neglecting their alignment with nature. I just want to do that because it ties into the topic today and our guest today, who will bring forth to you some very powerful understanding and clarity that ties into what we present ourselves each and every time we come on this podcast to you. And we look for you to give us the feedback. And let me get one more here in short. I wrote this for a brother, friend of mine, personal friend of mine who has since passed away. But he was an artist, a musician. He had an ear for listening music. And I went to him, and I shared this before. When I came to him in reference to one piece of poetry that written, I said, look, I just wanted to hear myself on the CD. He said, let me hear it. I gave him one line. He said, I got something. From there, as I said before, and I'll say it again, this is my second birth, but that was my first child that I brought into this world.
It's creative.
I would not change. And the title of that is Serenity on the Shore. So here, let me read this short part here. An artist's visions and dreams, as we always open up with. An artist is a visionary, one who sees, believes what is yet to come, but spells out the story that they cannot tell. The sounds of lyrics flows like water, cascading across the horizon plains, and only a tuned ear can feel the joy of senseless pain that never hurts, except at the end is what I've gained. Pain of color, shape, size that has no rhythm as to why I hear what I cannot tell you, how it looks from the other side. That's in short. And that's important because, again, understanding the alignment, the purpose, pain, love, everything that we share, we bring to you about who are you. I would say, who am I? But it starts from the inside out. But the door is wide open for you to gain all that God has given you. And I say this from the Bible, I say this from the Torah or the Quran. No matter how you look at it. Any book you pick up that's spiritual will really opens the door for you. But if you don't walk in, you will never find out who you are.
That's a beautiful thought. That's a beautiful thought. And the thing is, again, we go back to the fact that May is, like I said, I call it Merry Month of May because there's so much going on. But one of the things that I want to just take a few minutes to speak about is meditation. A lot of people think that meditation is just you sitting in a corner with your eyes closed and your hands sort of palms up. And that's one type of meditation. But another type of meditation is what they call a walking meditation. And again, one of the things, if you look at other countries and whatnot, especially, you look at China, Japan, that type of thing, the older people, they're out in the park, they're walking around, they're doing the Tai Chi and that thing. Because again, it's movement. In this country and in this culture, we have the thing, and this is, I hate when people tell me this, like, you should take it easy. You just say, you might as well slap me in the face. Slap me in the face because, you want me to sit someplace taking it easy and whatnot, not realizing I'm killing myself. So when I'm out walking, like my summer routine is I get up early, I'm at 5, get out to the park about 6 or whatnot, and I walk around that track, the track that we have there, and I do that like 5 times. So that's like 5 miles, But the point I'm making, while I'm walking around that track, my mind is really going to different places and whatnot, but I'm at peace, I'm calm, And I think, again, we need to do more of that, okay? Movement is king. Movement is what we should do. So we got work to do. We got work to do, right?
There's nothing worse than somebody telling you to slow down, pulling you back. That's like you are trying to get rid of the dead weight or any weight. Somebody says, slow down, you're walking too fast.
That's right,
Well, the point is, it's not the fact that somebody walking too fast, because time waits for nobody. Did you tell time to slow down? No.
It ain't gonna happen.
Did you tell the wind to slow down, wait for us? No. It keeps moving. At any pace, you don't know when, where, or how it will come. But when that wind kicks up, you better be ready. If it stops, don't go to sleep on it because it's still moving. The bottom line is, It's about you catching up. It's not so much me slowing down, because if I speed up, if I burn myself out, it's one thing. But if you slow down, you die in your track. Nobody has time to come back and pick up dead weight. And that's what's important. It has nothing to do with, understanding somebody's situation or condition. We're not talking about that. We're talking about those who are capable of making a difference in your life. We ain't talking about those who had tread the soil and labor and unfortunately not able. But the bottom line with all of that, they're moving.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And again, we're going to move on, but the point we're making is that movement is important. Okay. Because we have so many illnesses that are really a result of what we eat, and then sometimes we eat too much. Sometimes we eat when we're not even hungry. We just want entertainment. Our community is calling in, and Aretha Foster Bram says, "Good evening, gentlemen." And Aretha says, "I meditate when I walk. The trees are relative. It helps my mental so much." Okay, so we have a whole community out there who tunes in, and we really appreciate you. We have some people who were with us from day one, and Aretha is one of those people. And so calling in from Delaware. And so my sister, we call you Queen. Thank you. Thank you for being with us this evening. You got something else for me?
Yes. And this ties in too, and I'll read this in short. And I read this before, but it's not about reading something before. It's about revisiting something to make something new, because things change. The wind blows, but do you know which direction is it blowing in? Discarded to prop treasure. In other words, from trash to treasure. Prop means I done put myself on a mantle. I was discarded, but now I'm somebody.
That's right. That's right.
Who am I?
That's right.
You see, and people always talk about you, how you look. But now when you get dressed or hit the light, all of a sudden now they want to be your friend.
That's true. That's true.
Life is a long journey in search of opportunities to access a world of happiness. How can one define what happiness looks like while being blinded by external distraction, without considering that things are merely an illusion designed to appear real? Discarded is a state of low self-esteem, made real without a sense of self-worth, feeling unvaluable towards future goals, and a vision unseen. Lost treasure are discovered through a search and rescue approach that regains the magnitude of one's worth, encompassing all that one has been given by taking the time to search for one's own identity.
Yes.
Who are you?
Yeah, that's profound. Yeah. And Aretha says here, you can read the same thing several times and get different revelations each time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I find it with the Bible. I was raised in the church, and the scripture that I read makes more sense now than ever before. And that's why we revisit the scriptures. That's why when we talk about our music, some things in the music that I didn't get when I first heard it.
Right.
And then we say that our community, the heart of our community, is education. And so again, we find our education in books. But before we go on to other segments, we have a very special guest with us today. She is look, you introduce the guest, because I can just gush over her, but
I'm nervous. I mean,
because we're in the presence of royalty right here, right?
Absolutely, and in all seriousness, it's truly we welcome everyone. And as I always say, it has nothing to do with title and position, but this is our sister. This is our guest today who will bring forth. And yes, this is a sister, and I'll be honest with you, as we said, yes, she makes us nervous. Not because she may be highly intelligent, but just the mere harmonious joy and pleasantness of her spirit is what makes the difference. That's what we look for. So at this time, even in short, because I think you read her bio, but let me just read the first line and the second line, the last line, and let her tell you who she is and the reason why she brings and why we all giggly up here in a heartbeat. But nevertheless, Rashonda Bennett, visionary, entrepreneur, financial counselor, coach, compassionate, soul healer. I need my soul healed. And I'll read that's the first line. The last is redefine what what it means to lead with purpose and passion, inspiring new era of holistic financial empowerment. At this time, our welcoming sister, we will bring to you Rashana Bennett.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ashe. Well, again, thank you for being with us this afternoon. And there's so many things that I want to talk to you about. So many things that I need, some of your wisdom on. I guess the first thing that I want to go back to that quote that I began with. You say here that wealth is measured more in time than money. Could you break that down for us? What do you mean by that?
Most definitely. Just through my experiences and evolution and really understanding where we are now, the old definition of wealth was more about money and possession and statue. Mm-hmm. But when we think about wealth now, we're looking more about the choices, the flexibility, the time, the experiences. And as you ascend or get older, wiser, you realize those things are more important because you realize those who were just focusing on the money, the statue, the possessions, for some reason they're circling back to the 180, back to nature, back to self, back to my family, back to what do I want to experience, because something must have clicked and realized that that's not the answer. Because you wasn't feeling what you truly want to experience, as you was glorifying a materialistic statue that it couldn't feed your inner soul and being.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. And
Was
it's
that
so
clear?
funny. Yeah, it is. And again, because we get it, but our community, Pamela McAfee Town, she says for sure. And sometimes a higher level of interpretation comes as we mature in the Lord. The word, great show.
100%.
Larissa says here, my wealth is my wisdom.
100%.
And just to add to that, since we, on to that, I'm saying that health is the only wealth that really matters. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything, And the reason that we have you here with us this afternoon is because you break that down. You break that down in a way that anybody could understand it, And I think a lot of times what happens with people like yourself is that you have a glow about you. You have
thank you.
I'm just saying what I see, and I see that from you, and what happens, you attract people. Like a lot of times when people come to me, they say you don't look like you're 74 or going to be 75,
At all.
Yeah. Then what I do, then I put them on there. Okay, well, this is what I do here. This is what I don't do. Okay, because I want to feel good every day, and and I always talk about what is your superpower, because I have a superpower. My superpower, Ron, is that I read these books. Okay, I don't skim them. I don't do the cliff notes. I read the books. And my question, what is your superpower?
I just love your questions, by the way.
All right.
Because I love to go inner, right? I love to ask Source, give me divine guidance.
Okay.
When I realize that is the equation to a more simplistic life, is asking for guidance by Source, it doesn't complicate things. And so in my journey, I realized my superpower, I have a natural ability to move through multi-dimensional realities.
Ooh, that's deep.
Spiritual codes
I love it.
that will allow me to articulate and express clarity for those who are seeking more spiritual guidance and financial wisdom and journey.
That's beautiful.
So I know how to come through analyzing spiritual data data and breaking it down in more layman terms versus its complexities. And so those who are searching for my gifts, I can break that down for them easily and help to guide them. Because the truth is, we really know who we are, but sometimes you need someone on the outside who has tapped in and done the work to be that guidance for you.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Now, I'm not going to lead you out here. What is your superpower?
Just being here. No. In all seriousness, and you're right. Mine is as it was expressed, and even though this is the first time I met the sister, but her spirituality brings forth this question that you asked.
It does.
You know,
It does,
it's the inner, and as you expressed about yourself, reading, and mine is the being creative thinking. You know, I think, and I don't mean I think myself to death. I just don't.
Don't overthink.
Exactly.
Don't
You know,
overthink,
it's like I can see and you hear a conversation, you pick up, and you start to draw yourself in. It's just like a flower. A flower. Let's just say whatever flower that may be. You know, it draws in bees. It draws in certain creation. And you know, from a flower you get honey, because you get a lot of honey from me. So anyway, but the bottom line, in all seriousness, I mean, we have fun, but that's who I am. You know, is trying to be open, honest, down to earth, try to be joyful. You know, we can all be crucified about something, but
of course,
the superpower is being self, being me. And I thank God for that.
And we all have a superpower. You know, sometimes we don't recognize, but like my brother said here, sometimes other people recognize it in you. Because I know when I was going through school, you know, the teacher was saying that you're bright, but you got to stop fooling around. You know, you're talking too much. You know. And as I went through my career, I was looking for these heavy dudes, man, you know, because I said, I'm a poor black boy from Elizabeth, New Jersey. You know, my mobility is so limited because I don't have any money. I'm poor. But I was able to go to college. And then I was able to become a college professor, which I still can't believe. But the point was that I was always a seeker. I'm looking for stuff. I'm still looking for stuff. And then when I got to the college, man, I'm going to meet all these heavy dudes, man. And I went away to college, and I'm looking for the heavy dudes. And then I realized that I'm the heavy dude because I couldn't find that. But the point I'm making is that we don't know the greatness within us. And Aretha says here, my wealth is my wisdom. All of our greatness is manifested from the inside out.
No matter how you look at it.
Let me read that again, because that she took my thought. My wealth is my wisdom. All of our greatness is manifested from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. You know, I can't tell you. You look intelligent. What does that mean? Does that person look stupid? I mean, come on now. But again, you know, these are such profound ideas, but they're presented simply. You know, simply. But again, we can't neglect the books. And just briefly, here I just want to talk about two books. And we said my superpower is being true to my own self. This book right here, Of My Own Making, a memoir by Daria Burke. Okay, and I first encountered this book on a podcast that she was being interviewed by another person. And what I did, I actually got the audio book, because a lot of times I like to lie in bed and I just like to have this wash over me, you know, her words. And she was just so profound in what she was talking about. And again, and we talked about this before, Ron, how sometimes we got to go through something, you know, because about the post-traumatic is not a destination. It's a continual becoming, a relentless evolution, okay? So what is post-traumatic? And it says here, and I read from the back of the book, so Daria Burke is as adept as creating prose that floats and dips as she is divining unflinchingly into the root of harm, addiction, and hurt. Of My Own Making is as profound a book about the treacherous experience of befriending ourselves as I read this decade, you know. And again, it's important. And so I highly recommend this book, especially those who are looking for that inner person within yourself. And the second book that I want to let our people know about is this book here, and it's called Malcolm Lives, the official biography of Malcolm for young readers, but I think it's for all readers, and it's from Ibram X. Kendi. And again, it says here, in the search for truth, in the fight for justice, in the pursuit of liberation, Malcolm lives. And he lives within us. You know, one of the things I love about Malcolm X was brought out in his autobiography, also brought out in the movie. He read the dictionary from A to Z, and he copied down the definitions. And so that was what he called his homemade education, okay? We need to really put ourselves to work. Work is not a bad word. You know, people think that work is what you get paid for. You know, again, I've worked jobs, I've got paid or whatnot, but the thing that I like about what I'm doing right now, I've had many jobs, but what now, I'm into my work right now, okay? As my work is joyous, my work is fulfilling, Is my work is what's keeping me alive, you know? And when I speak to people like our guests, I just got to say, man, you know, like I know my work is been worthwhile. And the last thing that I want to do, I want to make a quick transition because I left this off because I figured, you know, I just wanted to hear what she had to say, but I just want to squeeze in these two things. And again, we have a segment in our program called Music is Lit. And in this program, I actually read music as the lyrics as poetry. And the conversation got me so fired up that I want to share this because it's a jukebox in my head, you know, and this jukebox is constantly going, you know, and I bring it out at the proper time. Work, nothing wrong with work. And I want to go back, I want to go to the Isley Brothers, you know, and this is from an LP called Brother, 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 and this was in 1972. And this is a song by the Isley Brothers, and when I first heard it, I was dancing so much I didn't understand the lyrics. I was just dancing, I was dancing fool. But when I stopped to think about it, and now what we're talking about right now, what we're doing, and so this is Work to Do, the Isley Brothers. And it goes like this. It says here, I'm taking care of business, woman, can't you see? I got to make it for you, I got to make it for me. Oh, sometimes it seems that I've neglected you. Well, I'd love to spend more time, but I got so many things to do. Oh, I got work to do. I got work, baby. I got work to do. I got a job, baby. I got work to do. I got work to do, work to do, work to do. I'm out here trying to make it. Woman, can't you see? Oh, it takes a lot of money to make it. Let's talk truthfully. Keep your love lights burning and a little food hot in the plate. You might as well get used to me coming home a little late. Oh, I got work to do. I got a job, baby. I got work to do. I got work to do. Oh, so much work, baby. Oh, I got work. I got work to do. I got work to do. I got work to do, baby. Again, work to do. And I want to finish this, you know. Quick story. I was working at Union County College in Plainfield. I was assistant director of Plainfield campus. One of our secretaries, a nice woman, her name is Audrey Toombs. Audrey, if you're out there. And she was a big Earth, Wind, and Fire fan, you know. So I said, you know, and I saw there were some tickets on sale for a show at Nassau Coliseum in New York City. And I said, I know she likes Earth, Wind, and Fire, so I'm going to buy her 2 tickets, you know, so she can go with her boyfriend or whatever, you know. And I gave her the tickets, and she was so happy, and I was happy because she was happy. Make a long story short, I'm sitting in my office one day. She comes into the office. She says, Terry, I thank you for the tickets. I said, yeah, because I want you to enjoy the show. She said, well, I would enjoy the show much better if you came with me. I said, what? You want me to go with you? I said, yeah, I would be glad to go with you. And I tell you, man, we went, and that show blew my mind. And that's why Earth, Wind, and Fire is on my top 5 list, you know. And there's one song that they sang, and it's really part of a soundtrack for a very terrible movie. But again, sometimes I like B movies. Okay, every movie can't be an A movie. But it was the soundtrack for The Way of the World. And this is 1975. And so the tune, as I conclude the segment on Music is Lit, is from that soundtrack. It's The Way of the World. And it starts here. It says here, Hearts of Fire creates love, desire, take you higher and higher to the world you belong. Hearts of Fire creates love, desire, higher and higher to your place on the throne. We come together on this special day, sing our message loud and clear. Looking back, we've touched on sorrowful days. Well, future, past, they disappear. You will find peace of mind if you look way down in your heart and soul. Don't hesitate, cause the world seems cold. Stay young at heart, and cause you're never, never, never old at heart. That's the way of the world. Plant your flower, gonna plant your flower and grow a pearl. Child is born with a heart of gold. Way of the world makes his heart so cold. Hearts of fire, love, desire, higher and higher. Yeah. Hearts of fire. That's the way of the world. And again, community, I just want to say to you, you know, we thank you for being out there. We thank you for your comments. We thank you for your viewership. And I'm saying to you, it may be the way of the world, but it's not the way of our world. It's not the way of the world that we're trying to develop in our community. So please stay tuned, keep on listening, keep on encouraging us, because we really need that encouragement, and you need that encouragement, because we'll get through all the stuff that we have to go through. We'll get through that, but we're gonna come out as a new people and a better people. And what say you to Ron, to all of that? I got to get your wisdom on this. You know? This is a heavy brother. This is my brother. My brother's heavy.
We are the way of the world. You know, you just threw me off.
I'm sorry.
No, because I had.
This is unscripted. This is we don't rehearse this. You know, maybe we should, but we don't.
But even what you say, which is so important, and because again we can pieces in and out and whatnot, so everything ties into one. And matter of fact, even as I asked the sister, that ties into what you just asked. You know, what's important is one, and let me tie this together. Again, you know, as a certified financial counselor, organizing, achieving financial freedom. We hear that all the time.
Yes.
But we're not here to talk per se about the financial freedom. We talk about freedom as a whole, your passion, your purpose. What is freedom? What is your spirituality? You may have heard it several times, but it's not the point of hearing it. It's a constant reminder of what we need to hear on a regular basis, no matter how you look at it. So again, having different artists and guests whatnot come and present it from their perspective and what they have learned and what they have to offer. And again, that's what it's all about. Right. Helping others, lifting someone else up better than yourself. Those who read the Bible, Philippians 2 and 3. Okay? But you'll find it in other books. So again, with the question I was posed to me, but I also like to present it to the sister back in reference to from her spirituality, from inside. Where was the seed that was planted in you that caused you or allowed you to grow
that's deep.
Harmoniously, spiritually, passionately, to find your purpose, even your purpose now?
Whoa, that's deep. Ooh.
So you're going to ask that one more time.
Ooh, I guess what makes you you, I guess.
What makes you you? With all that you have, all the accolades that you have, all the education that you have, what makes you who you are today from a seed that brought you to your spirituality of understanding and to be able to present to somebody else? Who is you from a seed to now?
Yes. Oh.
So what I'm hearing, because I have to decode it, what I'm hearing is who Rishona Bennett is. Rishona, which is Hebrew, which means the first.
Rishona, yes.
And so when I understand that evolution and that journey, it definitely was part of my mother. My mother supported Rishona. She understood Rishona before Rishona even came out. And I think because of her being a teacher, she knew how to feed my soul. And so what Rishona represents and stands for, which my name was given by my uncle, Evet Yahu, I am a multi-dimensional being. I'm radiant, I'm courageous, I'm bold. I'm creative, I'm passionate. I'm evolutionary.
Yes.
I'm divine love. I'm source. I'm spiritual. I'm adventurous. And in the evolution of that, I realized the very thing that made me scared is the very much thing that I am, divine love. I couldn't understand how people could love so deep. And that love so deep is on the agape level.
Wow.
And so my passion wasn't just for a boyfriend or a man or a friend. I loved the world so deep that I didn't understand why people were in pain.
Wow.
And so when I say that I'm a financial soul healer, is because I'm here to uproot the darkness, which at one point is kind of where you birth seeds, but also those who are going through the trenches of pain to help to lift them and bring them light, to feed their soul. And so that is me. That is my evolution. That is my purpose. That is the experience that I experienced. I realized in my experiences and me walking through many shades, many doors,
Yes.
many avenues, it always tend to be the same. I bring this light, this birth, this renewal, this transformation, transformer.
And I have to ask you this, okay? We had a brief conversation, prior to this, but Well, no, two questions. The first question is, what does financial freedom mean? What does it mean to be financially free?
But that's all different to everybody.
Okay, what does it mean
right?
to you? Let's be specific.
So financial freedom is really you just having a choice to do what you want, when you want, how you want, right? And your experiences. That financial freedom could be financial peace.
Okay.
And that financial peace could be the very thing that everyone should have, which is the hierarchy of basically basic necessities, which is food, shelter, water, and clothing. We flipped it. The society has flipped it now, where you're seeing people on the street who are starving. They don't have houses or homes.
Oh, yes.
They don't have clothing and not support. That should be the norm. That should be the norm. So that's a financial freedom, is that peace, because everything else is just extra.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on what you want. Some people can be extensive in a level of greed, but there's an essence when you are at peace.
Yes.
And that peace is because you have that inner peace first. So when you find that financial freedom, it allows you to be more generous.
Yes.
But the norm should be, we should all have food, shelter, water, and all our basic bills. And I'm saying that because we are on a 3D level. We're living in this matrix. That should automatically be paid for and be taken care of. And once we can get that back to the norm, we should probably all be feeling financially free.
That's beautiful, because I know when I think about financial freedom, I think about living in the overflow. Okay, because I think we all should have abundance. You know, again, we should have our basic needs met, but then after that,
100%, right.
There's the overflow, and so I want to live in the overflow so I can be more generous.
100%. That's what we're here for,
right.
to change and expand the love to others. But that first love has to be poured within ourselves.
Okay.
And I think because we've been so programmed for so many levels, and I'm going to be very transparent,
please
not only through religion, but also through our families, through our form of education, is always, even if we're from an American perspective, America is beautiful. But at the same time, we've been taught about being individualism. And so the cultures, when we were about family and unity, it has been broken.
Wow.
And so we've been taught that community is not important. We've been taught that we must work harder for everyone else but then ourselves, right? So the disconnect really comes from, we don't start pouring to ourselves first so that we can pour into others. So if I'm depleted, how can I give you from an empty cup when my cup is not even full and overflowing? How can I, like I say, we're moving from running water, but when do we have balance to say, you know what, let me stop this and put a pause so that I can truly see and really be in gratitude of what I have. I can't give you a better relationship or anything if I don't have a relationship with myself.
Right, this is beautiful, yeah.
How do I give? And so it's this mindfulness, this abundance that you're talking about. We are that because we are source. But because we've been so programmed, we don't realize that we come from abundance. So the reason why we don't have abundance and why we don't experience abundance is because of this. It's the choices that we make. Because if we know true, not believe, but we know that the universe is always working for our greatest and highest good, and that source is infinite, our infinite supply. If we don't feel that in the physical realm, it's because we don't feel that ourselves.
Wow.
We're not making that choice. It's not because God did wrong. It's because you chose to, not choose to, want a better life for yourself.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I'm looking at your bio, and it says here that you are a compassionate soul healer, and that's what I'm getting you from now. You know, you're compassionate and you're healing my soul. But we live in a world that is constantly changing. Okay, constantly changing and evolving and whatnot. And because it's constantly changing and evolving, and for so many people it's so fast, you know, and we hear new terms, we hear new realities, and we get afraid, and we say, I'm not going to put my money in that, or I'm not going to invest in that. And also you are a certified financial counselor, but you're also a co-founder of, is it BK Crypto?
BK Crypto, yes.
And what is that? Because you say crypto, now so I'm trembling because
Yep, I know.
I'm afraid of Bitcoin. Don't let Bitcoin get me.
You know, Again, this mindfulness, right? Why do we choose the word afraid? It's really because you didn't educate yourself. You didn't choose to find the knowledge and the wisdom. We're only afraid of something that we don't know, right?
Yes, right.
So BK Crypto. BK Crypto is a company that was founded in 2017. We saw the evolution occurring, and as a group, the co-founders, and we're all spiritually connected. We went to high school together. I used to tour with Patra. We used to work together at H&M. But in that, we all saw this passion that this is something happening in our time that can change our community. We realized that understanding that this change of financial wealth, the monetary shift, blockchain was happening. How do we learn about it? How do we educate ourselves so that we can inform, educate, and empower the community? So we learned it. We did all the sweat work overnight, 24 hours studying to say, this is happening. This is evolving. Because someone has to be the seer. Someone has to have the lens to say that something is happening, is occurring. Is that you're that bell to say, hey, watch, a tornado's coming, the storm is coming? Well, we're the storm, and letting you know that it's here. Right? And so in our research, we realized that this is also a company, but in the passion, we realized people are afraid of what they don't know. People are also afraid of change. Let's keep it real.
Yes.
Because people like to be comfortable.
Yes.
Because if we know source says that we're all constantly abundant and we have, then you're being complacent and comfortable. And so society didn't teach us, and schools didn't teach us financial wellness, financial literacy.
They didn't.
Right?
No.
And so I gave you that.
Yeah.
But when something new is coming on, what happens is, because we're not working from an internal lens and we've been programmed to look outside of ourselves, not within ourselves, we don't even feel that something new is happening. We don't even see that something is happening. We just still are moving because most of us do come from homes where our parents are working hard. And when they come home, they're tired. We're coming from a place that mind of our mindsets are coming from lack. Or again, when I coach some of my clients, what is your relationship with money? They have bad relationship with money. So why would I stay focused on this something changing with my monetary system when my job can't even pay more to live in a life of inflation?
Yes, that's true.
To have the overflow and abundance.
Yeah.
So sometimes you are called. We are called. Because crypto is called. But when God prepares you for something, you don't realize what you're being prepared for. So this integration of me being a soul healer, healing my soul first, obviously, becoming passionate about financial wealth and financial counseling and seeing the future happening, it was the integration of saying that this is time for me to tell my people we're living in the largest wealth transfer ever. And yes, that sounds scary. Yes, it sounds like, oh, I don't know what this is. I wasn't taught about financial literacy. But most people, honestly, they wasn't taught about money. If I asked you a question, what is money, would you be able to tell me? Most people are acting in the I'm in survivor mode.
That's right.
Versus I'm here living. And that's not shameful. It's real. But you can get yourself out of that. And you know how? It's the mindfulness. It's how you choose to see things, right? So am I choosing to see the glass half full or half empty? Am I choosing to see that I'm living my life in joy, right?
Yes.
Am I choosing to see the sadness, but in the sadness I understand it, and then I'm able to bring happiness? I like to say, we can all live in this abundance.
Okay.
But you have to be honest with yourself and say, what do you want to create for yourself? I'm afraid, but God help me.
Yes.
Give me guidance.
Yes.
I know there's more. Can you show me more? Because there is. And so what is crypto? What is BK crypto? Cryptocurrency is just a new evolution of the monetary system setting. And just to make it really simple for my people, because I love you guys and I want you to understand this is the same shift that is happening when we were in 1999 and 2000, when we were looking at the snail mail going to email. And most of us didn't know what that is, but many of those who are the baby boomers are using emails right now, are using AI, right? Because you have to. What about the flip phone and the smartphone? You didn't know what it was, but it became your norm, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing's happening. So what's happening is that something that is a phrase become your norm. But it's becoming your norm. Why can't we now take a part of that norm before it actually becomes the norm around the world and invest in it so that we can build wealth? Did you understand the Googles and the Apples and the Facebook when it came in?
Yeah.
If you do your research, when there's any type of change, there's always going to be chaos. Think about it.
In the beginning,
because within the chaos, you have to create change. And so all those companies, let's think about Blockbuster. Where's Blockbuster now? And I'm saying this, and hopefully
I
in
meant to bring
God
that tape back.
that people are understanding what I'm saying in layman terms to say that things evolve. we evolve. And if you could just understand that little layman terms, then we could do more for our people.
You said a lot.
No, absolutely. You're right on point. And it's interesting because we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, and I want to speak to our audience as well, those who learn, those who know or understand. But let me say this. From my perspective, Jesus said to be in the world and not of it.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
too many get caught up the world because you are part of it. So you see all these artificial things, whether it's evolving, whatever. But what is it evolving from and for what? Are you evolving from a natural state into a more harmonious state of living your best, living your best life? I say it right here all the time, Dr. Thurman Evans. What is the leading causes of life? The wealth of the world is all around you, but you don't have the wealth because you don't see it. You don't see it because you are blind about it. It's not about the material things, the money, because in the Bible, those who also know and understand that Jesus said, whose face is on that penny? Caesar. Well, surrender unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and surrender unto God what belongs to God.
Right.
Who has the highest and the most? God, because he created that material for man to create the penny to put his face on it. Where's your face?
Yeah.
You see, your face should be on that wealth all around you. You have it. Wealth and freedom is in the air that you're breathing. God asked Ezekiel, can these dry bones live? Only you know. He didn't challenge him. He said, only you know, because he know that God has given him the breath of life. Where's your breath of life? It's in you. Listen to this sister who's presenting from her perspective, what she's sharing, what we share all the time. It's in you. And no matter how you look at it, it's about bringing yourself together from the inside out. Get rid of that woe is me, because again, that woe is me that's inside love you because it's there for a reason. The toxic inside of you makes it happy to make you miserable. But the point is for you to be free and find freedom and wealth and healthiness, and your purpose is to delve in, as it was said, inside yourself. Get rid of the toxicity of your thinking. Forget the gut. Because if you change the way you think, like Paul said, you become a new person. So you talk. Start with the inside. Get rid of that mess in there because you know how to take out the garbage. And let me say this last part. Those who don't take out the garbage is the reason why you are where you are. But when you empty the trash, you take it from the outside, from the inside, and throw it out.
Community, we got some good stuff going here. And one of the things, I want to go back to our guest and my question, you said we got to expand ourselves, okay? Now, what is your happy place outside of this country? Because sometimes people think that this is the only place that we can go. It's like this is the one room and we can't go upstairs. We can't go down the basement. It's just here. But I want to know, what is your happy, what country have you been to that you say, well, you know what, I like this. This could be my happy place.
Oh my gosh. I just had an amazing retreat I experienced. Coca Scene, a beautiful woman, she's a chef, and she did a retreat for women. Let us take care of you. And so it was in Cape Verde, which is off of West Africa.
Yes.
And we had to fly into Portugal. This is how Source works. Amazing.
Yes.
And so we were brilliant. We were with about 13 beautiful women who just needed to come together collectively to feel love from their own sister.
Yes.
And Arlene, a beautiful woman, I mean, we got the creme de la creme. I'm talking about from meditation, from Jill, I think her name was Jill, seeing the sunrise and seeing the ocean in bungalows on top of a mountain, talking about God, talking about source.
Yes.
Brilliant. But in that, we had this food that was full of richness, and you could just feel it every time you ate, from the yogurt, the fresh butter, to the papayas, to the shakes, and then the alone time. I like to say stillness is a verb. And when you sat there and you woke up just to see the ocean, you got to have a deep conversation with yourself in source. And in that, we like to say we're afraid of things, but there's nothing like being in touch with nature. And to get to see yourself driving on top of mountains until you see the clouds meet the sky, and you're like, this is real. This is what Source created and you're a part of that, and then you see volcanoes that erupted in 1981 and you're in the middle of that having brunch with beautiful sisters, divine. But this is how Source works. I thought I planned my air flight to fly back into New York, but I had 2 overlays in Portugal. And so 24 hours I stayed in Lisbon, and the other 24 hours I stayed in Porto.
Look at you.
And let me tell you, that was all I need to taste, because now I'm ready to go back. It was peaceful. The food was fresh, beautiful fresh wine, cobble village stones, little village towns, going to the supermarket.
Yes.
Fresh food and fruits and bread. Now, I don't know, people, watch their weight in carbs, but I was eating some bread, and let me tell you something. I didn't gain an ounce of weight. I felt so full and just full of love. And then I went to I went to Porto, another part of Portugal, and I stayed at my first hostel.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes.
To meet people from all across the world, staying somewhere just to integrate before their next journey. And I met a woman who did a 30-day spiritual walk. I don't know the terminology, I don't remember it, but she did it because she had cancer and she fought it and she won 30 days, and her stop was at that hostel. But when I stayed there, I said, Source, this is what I want to create for the community. I want to create this hostel type environment with love, a quantum love, where everyone's working together and having a little stop to really connect with people that they never might meet before, and to really have a spiritual connection. But at the same time, I felt so safe. I didn't know anybody, but I knew everybody. And I cried, listening to musicians playing music, and I danced and twirled my phone around. I said, this is heaven on earth. Thank you, God.
It's so great what you're saying. And just a quick thing here. This is from the book of my own making. And she talks about walking. She says here, on those solitary walks, I unearthed the profound connection between mind and feet, which became a path to some kind of clarity for me, especially after my mother disappeared. For me, in moments of feeling down or stuck or lost, there's often a voice calling within, calling for movement, for change, for evolution. Walking is always my answer to that call. Each step sets the mind and soul in motion, and walking becomes a portal for processing, reflection, and giving ourselves space to expand. It's as much as a cognitive journey as it is a physical one, an opportunity to unpack the thoughts and experiences of the day, and sometimes to let them go. I walk to find out what I'm thinking and what it means. Each walk in Paris was a ceremony of reconnection, a deliberate pilgrimage to a sacred place within myself. This too is integration. And so what you said really sort of opens that up, because again, we got to get out of our heads. Sometimes we got to get out of this country to realize that there is a beauty beyond that. Now, I said this before, and I said that to you. This hour goes like that. I got about 10 minutes. So I'm going to give you 5, and I'll take the other 5, and we'll say goodnight to our community. And our
I want to make this quick because actually I got lost. But I thought I was on the plane going to Portugal.
And I was with him, man. I
began to imagine.
I'm
like, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because when I went to Africa, Tanzania, I felt the same way. I felt freedom immediately. And we done a documentary, me and this other brother done a documentary.
Beautiful.
So let me read this right quick because a couple of things you pointed out. And this is from, again, Plentiful Harvest by Terry Williams. And on this page it says, in every community there is work to be done. In every nation there are wounds to heal. In every heart there is the power to do it. And I want to skip down. Our neighborhood are going through a transition. For many years they were held hostage by the forces of destruction. But I have hope today. As I crisscross the country, I am seeing glimpses of revival. There are still abandoned buildings, vacant lots, crime speeds, poor education, poor health, and unemployment. But I think we are beginning to see these things as opportunity to build and help one another. And I say that because, again, as you express, our guest, community. And let me say this also in short. And I want to do this real short. This one is by T.D. Jakes, Devotions from Loose That Man and Let Him Go. But here, just in short, I just want to give you the title of this. Dysfunction is no excuse. Dysfunction is no excuse. Unless you were born with a disability and you beyond your control, dysfunction is no excuse. And here, in short, and all this ties into, even with our guests, and just in short, I'm not going to read this, but this one here, Malcolm X said, this is back in 1967. He talks about the community, what we need to do. I don't have time to read it, but I just want to share this. The importance of what he said then, what my sister is saying now, what we talk about on a regular basis, a community, self-help. It's up to each one, each individual. And these are words of inspiration. This sister's here giving inspiration. She gave a moment that took me away from here. You know, yes, the commercial, Calgon, take me away.
Take me away. She took us away, right? Yeah. But my sister, how can our community get in touch with you?
Most definitely. Yeah. So you can reach me at reshonah.com, or you can go to bkcryptocoach.com. And I'm just here for you. If your spirit is calling for evolution, to evolve, to thrive, clarity on some guidance of something that's sitting in your soul, reach out. I'm here for it. Let's evolve. Let's expand. We're in a beautiful time, a beautiful space, because there's beauty in chaos, but you can choose which way you want to sit in it.
And community, you heard the sister. You can reach out to her, and get more of this good stuff, this good food, these books, these thoughts. These are diets for our soul. Again, this has been Poetically Speaking. We're here Thursday from 6 to 7, and Sunday from 5 to 6. It's a place for the spoken word, but even more so than that, it's a place for you. Again, I'm gonna give my brother another couple of minutes because I want him to say good night to everybody and to our guests and to our community.
Yeah, once again, I will bring this to you. Again, it always ties into our conversation. What are the leading causes of life? A prescription for living at your highest and best. Don't ever say, woe is me. Don't ever say, I don't have. You have everything God has given you as long as you're able to breathe, get up, sneeze, say hello, thank you, hallelujah, whatever the case may be. Jump for joy. That's the bottom line. Jump for joy, even in the moment. Somebody will see or hear you. They may call the cop, think you're crazy, but the fact is, when they arrive, you say, hallelujah, thank you for showing up.
Yes. And just to, again, thank you, Reshonah Bennett.
Thank you for having me.
Our engineer tonight has been Jeff, and my brother. Thank you for being with me. Again, those who are watching, please continue to watch. And with that said, good night until we see you again.